I finally get to do another episode of On the Road with Desert. Finally. That poor podcast station is probably going, where's the podcast? Alright, I did a show earlier this morning while I was waking up. I actually had breakfast, like real breakfast. I made me some eggs and toast, and I had a slice of cheese and a slice of roast beef. I know it doesn't sound extremely great to some people, but for me that was a protein iron-packed breakfast. Kind of. I just forgot the green stuff. But you know, I just realized I didn't brush my hair. Oh my god, it's still I took it out of the towel and I forgot to comb it out. As long as no one runs their fingers through my hair, I guess it'll be alright. So I'm on my way to the dentist, and again, I'm late. I'm always late to this dentist. Always. I think it's subconsciously, like I don't want to go, you know? I don't mind going to other appointments, but I dread going to this one. He has to finish what he started. I hope we'll see what happens. So I had a show earlier, and I made a comment to one of the questions in the chat room about like the whole FBI thing and stuff, and I just now started thinking about it. You know, my comments aren't meant to like mock anybody or cut anybody down on their thoughts, but I learned a valuable lesson in my life with some situations that happened in my life. And you know, sometimes you watch too much TV, right? People watch too much TV. They see, you know, attorneys and lawyers and FBI, CIA, all these people coming to the rescue of somebody, and those kind of instances are very rare. That is not a common deal, you know, like, it's kind of like, you know, like the Michael Jackson song, where he says, they don't care about us. That whole song is relevant to our society, our times. There's them and then there's us, you know, and them are the higher powers that be that control everything, and then there's us. And we are important to each other in our little worlds, but to those agencies, no. You know, unless you're a high-profile person, or you're someone of status, or something large, nothing happens. Like, they're not going to spend money. Do you know what I'm saying? Let me gather my thoughts. I know what I'm trying to say, but I gotta just gather my thoughts a little bit. It's kind of like with the Amber Alert thing, okay? I made a comment a while back about the Amber Alert buzzing the phone. There was one earlier, or I don't know, maybe about 5 months ago, 6 months ago, in California, and they were buzzing everybody's phones like every 5 minutes, right? And people were getting upset because it was getting ridiculous. I know it was urgent and important, but so I had a show and I made a comment about it, and of course someone had to latch onto it and go, oh, she doesn't want to save kids and all this stuff, and you know, uneducated fool. So, and I let it go because obviously they don't know what was going on, what I was talking about. But the point was, is I was griping about it going off so loud, like even if you had your phone on silent kind of thing. And I had no idea it was on my phone. Like in the past, you can opt to have the app on your phone, but now it's automatically on your phone. And that's fine, you know, of course, something important like that. But here's the thing with that. If you ever really look into the Amber Alert, there are children kidnapped every day, at all hours of the day. And you wonder why, you know, nothing happens with them. Like why they don't get an Amber Alert. Why do only the selected few get an Amber Alert and all the other kids, the poor parents have to go through another route? Well, I'm going to tell you why. If you look into the fine print of the Amber Alert and what qualifies for an Amber Alert, the child has to be registered somewhere, like under CPS care, or they have to be under someone who works in government's child, okay? Somebody who is actually registered, a child or a family member. So the average person, like if it was me and something happened to my kids when they were little and I made a report and let's say it's something really bad, I wouldn't get an Amber Alert because I'm a nobody, right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's like the selected few, you know, it's not worldwide, because if it was, our phones would be ringing off the hook, because everybody would have that chance to save their child. Everybody would have the same, you know, what do you call it? But instead, you only really hear Amber Alert going national every once in a while. You don't hear it all the time. It's because it's for the selected few. I know someone personally who had an Amber Alert for his child, and I won't explain the situation, but the child so happened to be under CPS care. So that was the reason why, and that was went national too. And this is a long time ago. So I'm just using that as an example, okay? That's just an example. So the same with the FBI and all them stuff. Like, if you watch too much TV, you think that, oh, I'll just do this. And yeah, you have that right. You have the right to complain. You have the right to report. You have the right to do all those things. But for them to actually respond to your request, that's a whole different story. Chances are they'll move it down to something, and you'll hear something like in 5 months, 6 months, a year if you're lucky. It's not very, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I'd be very shocked. I'd be very shocked if anything ever came about from it, because it has to be something great. It has to be something big and national. And it made me think, like, wow, as citizens, we're pretty much on our own. The only time they really come after us is if it involves money, which would be taxes, okay? Even if you owe $50, oh, you'll go to jail. They'll do all kinds of stuff to you for that $50, because it has to do with money. But then other than that, they don't want to help you fix, like, if they owe you taxes. they don't want to actually help you, you know. So I think these people who spout out all these threats about, you know, all this stuff, they're going to have a rude awakening. It's sad, you know, it's sad when you realize that you're really nobody. You're just a peon. You know, you're just way to do things like that is actually doing something. You have to do it on your own and file on your own. And go to like small court or just regular court. But you got to do it on your own. Because same with attorneys, you know, unless it's something big, they're not going to take it. They're not going to take anything. It has to be something major. And even then, they'll give you a hard time because they want a big profile case. So that would be the only way to start it. It's a small case, and then it would have to build up and go to the Supreme Court, and then a law will be in place to be enforced. That too, we got a lot of laws that aren't enforced. You know, they're just laws. They're there like a fine writing in case somebody of stature or somebody, you know, high profile suddenly needs that law for their own case. I know, I'm going to get a lot of hate from this show, this podcast, but I'm telling the truth. It's a sad state we're in. I hope I can make it on time. So yeah, that's some of the stuff I was thinking about. Like, wow, you know, we really don't have... And the only way to do it, I would think, is people protecting people. You know, people protecting each other. Rather than completely counting on agencies. Because like some of that news I was reading this morning too, about like the bus driver who's around our schools with our kids. And one of the things that has changed is they put these stipulations of course, you know, you have to have some certifications, education, etc. But sometimes the good people, the people who are good, sometimes had bad things happen to them to where they can't get jobs like that. You know, let's say nothing criminal, but they just don't have the best credentials to be hired, but they're more qualified than these people that are getting these jobs because they kept their hands clean while they were going through the process, and then ta-da, they're in your schools. You know, they're hanging out with your children on a regular basis, and you don't even know it. So, I don't know, those are my thoughts on that. I don't think I'm going to make it on time. I'm trying really hard. You're late again, Rosalie. I'm going to be like, well... I had to take a shower, though. That's what did it. It's the shower. And I took it really fast. For me, it was really fast. It was, okay, just go in my clothes, but I still have class tonight, too. So it's like, oh, I don't want to go to class. What if the classroom is small? You know, if this classroom is small and I don't smell perfect or something. I don't want to be stuck in a classroom like that. I had perfume and everything, just in case. Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on what I was talking about earlier. Like, you know, them and us. It sucks, but that's the way the world is. So, whoever's getting threats out there, I wouldn't try not to stress on it too much, because I honestly, I can't see anything happening. You know, unless it was something major. And even this, there's like no proof of anything. There's nothing to base a case on. It's just people spouting out threats and fear-mongering, I guess that's what you call it. You know, all this is going to happen to you because you don't like me. You don't like me, so you are this and you're that. And have you ever looked, you know, as far as our little Spreaker world war thing? I guess there's two sides. Have you ever really stopped to look at the two sides? Who's on one side? I mean, just look at them. How you picture them all. They all have something in common. And then look at the other side and see what they have in common. And you'll see what I see. I see it is actually about race. Yeah, I said it. It's about race. Because some of the things I did here was about, oh, you don't like our country. Move out of our country. There's a newsflash. This is stolen land. It never was your country. Okay, it was your country for a time. But times have changed. And the people that are here have been indigenous to this land since the beginning. And they're not going anywhere. If anything, you should move back to your country. That's all I'm going to say on this podcast.